must have blinked a lot of times during this fight, but I watched this in a big room. I'd say there was 30 people there, making enough, but I'm close to 30 people. And when that fight ended, nobody in that room knew who won the fight. There was some people that were saying they thought it was Max, and some people were saying, I think it's Volkanovski, but nobody was definitive. Nobody was going, oh no, it was Alex for sure. I didn't know until the decision came in who won, and one of the judges had all 5 rounds for Alex. I don't dispute any of that. I'm just saying, that was a close fight. That was a weird fight for me. And the people that thought Alex ran away with it, you just saw something I didn't. So when the narrative comes up, should Max get an immediate rematch, it's a little bit tough to just walk away from that concept, right? Particularly when you look at 145. Who are the usual suspects? If it's not going to go to Max, if Max is not let's use the word deserving, which we only use when it fits our narrative over here, but let's go ahead and use it right now. If Max isn't deserving, who's more deserving? I believe that you only have 3 guys. I believe Max gets to be in consideration for an immediate rematch. And I think that if Korean Zombie gets the jump on Edgar, that Zombie gets to be considered for that. I don't know that Frankie necessarily will be, though Frankie's always a good choice. Frankie going in against Alex, I mean, total parity, right? Frankie thought he was going to have to leave the division, thought Max was going to be on top. I mean, what a difference a day makes, particularly based on how Frankie could do. But let me set Frankie aside. I think if Zombie wins, so if you're a team Max Holloway guy, Max should get the next rematch, you better be cheering against the Zombie. And then third, Yair. Yair is just a great choice. He's earned it in many ways. People love to watch him fight. Yair's style versus Volkanovski's would be a lot of fun. But I think you're down to those 3 guys. I don't know that you could bring Brian Ortega into this because Brian Ortega is hurt, by example. Jose Aldo has left the division and went down to 135. So you appear to be in a kind of a spot. Oh, and by the way, Volkanovski did some of his hardest work on the way to the title. Right, whether it was through Chad Mendez, Aldo that comes to mind, but Volkanovski's already eliminated a few players, including Max in many ways. But if people think that they saw a different fight than what the judges saw, if they think that, hey, Max won more minutes than he got credit for. And it has appeared to me, I mean, I'm one of those guys, but I'm telling you, I had a focus group. I had 30 people that have all watched a lot of fist fights in their day, and we all kind of looked at each other and shrugged. Thought it was a close fight. Thought it was a very competitive fight. It's also surprising in some ways, if you want to talk the X's and the O's. I mean, the fact that Alex was coming in and landing all those leg kicks, that's one thing that does surprise me because of his height. We always talk about reach and a reach advantage. But height is more important in a fight if you want to talk about what an advantage is. And one thing that was working against Alex was that he stood at 5'6". Max is way above him, but he was still able to reach him with those legs. That was a surprise for me. There was a guy many years ago, made his name over in Pride, tougher than all hell. His name was Igor Vovchinchin. But Igor was one of these big-time strikers doing it in the heavyweight division, and he only stood like 5'9.5". 5'10". I mean, it looked so silly out there, but he was a guy that could get inside. He'd kick you in the legs. He'd light you up with uppercuts and punches. He'd throw a whole bunch of stuff. When you learn how to work with your body and you learn that range and footwork and distance is none of the things that people will lead you to believe it is. No, one has nothing to do with the other. If your opponent is a southpaw or he's orthodox or he's got a 6-inch reach on you or he doesn't, what's the difference? Your punch is going to land at a certain range. You have to be at that same range to land your punch on absolutely anybody because that's as far as your arm or your foot goes out. Gives a goddamn what the other guy's reach is. What a waste of time. I'm digressing from my topic, by the way. Thanks a lot for distracting me. The point is, does Max deserve to go in against Volkanovski again? Damn good option. And the only other option to make that argument, in my estimation, is Yair. And the only one else who's even going to come to the table of this argument is Korean Zombie, should he get through Frankie Edgar. I think if you're a Team Holloway guy, I think you're in a pretty good spot.